Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're ready to roll.
Okay, good evening all. I'm John Burr. I'm the chair of the Armory Park Historic Zone Advisory Board, and this is the September 19th, 2023 meeting, and we have an agenda before us, only one case, so hopefully it's quick. I guess we'll do roll call. I'm here. Helen?
Here.
Pat?
Here.
And Maurice?
Here.
Great. We have a quorum. Item number 2, call to the audience. Michael, did your office receive any written comments?
Mr. Chair, we did not.
Okay, great. We can move on to reviews. The first and only case is ASD-0923 00098 220 South Fifth Avenue. Construct an 8-foot wrought iron fence at the south side of the building. And who is here to present tonight on behalf of the city?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Chair, did you skip item 2? Which is approval of the legal action for June.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Yes. It didn't print out on my printed copy and I can't access that. Item 2 is approval of the minutes from the June 30th board meeting and the August 29th meeting. All the minutes have now been posted on the PDSD page. I think all of you have had them. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
I present the motion to approve it.
Great. Thank you, Maurice. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. Great. Roll call vote. I vote in favor. Helen?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Maurice?
Aye.
Great. Passes 4-0. Sorry, apologies for that. All right. Item 4, review.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We need to vote the legal action report separately. We need to vote for June 20th and vote for June 29th.
We can't have a single motion to approve both.
I don't think we can do that.
That's the way it's listed on the agenda.
Okay. I'm fine. So the same person, Maurice, are you also making the motion for the August 29th?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And is the second Pat, you're also seconding the motion for August 29th, right?
Pat, are you okay that he's splitting it out, even though it's on the agenda as a single item?
Oh, that's fine by me.
Okay.
Great.
That's
Okay.
good with me. Thank you.
Okay. Clerical stuff. Perhaps it's confusing with the comma. Anyway, okay, now we can finally move on to item 4, reviews. I read it into the record. Again, it's ASD 0923 00098 220 South Fifth Avenue. Construct an 8-foot wrought iron fence at the south side of Armory Center. Okay, we have I think a couple people here. Who's presenting?
I will start it. My name is Donnie Russell. I'm a project manager. I'm with the City of Tucson Parks and Recreation Department right now, but this project was submitted by the General Services Department, Architectural and Engineering Division, where I was until about 3 weeks ago. But I'm kind of trying to help them get through this one because they're a little understaffed right now. And also with us is Kevin Perko with the Civil Design Group. He's the civil engineer that drew the plans.
Great. Great. So, Michael, do you need to make
Yeah, I will.
host to share screen?
Yeah, Donnie, I'm going to make you the host so you can share the screen.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah, there were several items on that were linked to it. Neither the development zone or the aerial of the area are viable links on the page, Michael, just for reference. The other ones were downloadable at great length because of the kilobyte size or megabyte size, but
Tony,
yeah.
I will make you the co-host. You're good now, don't need to share your screen, believe.
Okay, looks like it might be working. I just need to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. So, and I just have to find it. I apologize, folks. Here we go. So I'm sure you've seen some of this, but what we're proposing to do is on the south side of the recreation center. Currently, there's a block wall that runs partially in this area, and then there's some chain link fence that's been installed and runs along here for kind of a storage area. What we're proposing to do is put the 8-foot fence in, and essentially we're gonna. Are you all familiar with the way the center looks?
Yes.
Okay. So on the east side, there's this brick walkway that's underneath the cover, on the covered walkway. So we're gonna put a fence on the south end of that, and then the wrought iron will run down about 6 inches behind the sidewalk here to the corner, stays 6 inches behind the sidewalk. There will be a double gate here, I believe.
I think
Yeah.
the gates are only on the west side from this plan and the one that we received prior to the meeting.
Oh, yep, you're right. I'm very, very sorry. Boy, I'm glad somebody's on top of this.
Yeah, look for the
So-
number 3 there, Donnie.
Yeah.
That's a gate.
Yep. So number 3 is a gate. Number 2 is a gate. And then I believe on top of the dumpster enclosure, there's going to be a wall topper. And then also it looks like a new gate in front of the dumpster enclosure here. So just so we can have a little more frame of reference, this is the Google Street View. And then here's the aerial view clouded out where we're going to be removing the chain link fence. And then the new fence will run basically along here. So it'll be all behind the sidewalk. So this area, we've had some issues with some, this is not really an area that's used for any type of recreation. They use it to park their vans. They have this area to store some things, which will go away. The storage aspect of it will go away once we put the security fence in. And we've had some issues with some vandalism and some damage to our vehicles there. They're also the center employees are concerned also just because they're coming in parking the vans at night. There's a lot of places here for folks to have hidey holes. So it's a security issue for our employees also. So I'm not 100% sure. I've never done one of these before. So you guys are my first time. You can tell me everything that I have not told you that you need to know. So
we got a slightly different site plan than is presented here, and it mentioned obscure screen meshing. Next, there was originally a 6 next to 1, 4, and 1 up by the colonnade. That said screen meshing on the east, which could be problematic for view shed issues. So has that been removed from the latest proposal? It appears so. We got an earlier iteration of this site plan.
Yeah, excuse me, that should be, there should not be screening in there at all.
Okay, because that existing block wall has a much beloved mural that's very important, and I drove by it today and I see it's again vandalized, but it was put up in 2009 and it honors Adele, I believe it's Gurel, who was a longtime resident of the senior center and the adjoining apartments way back when, who was kind of the historian do note. And the plans do show that the east side fence is set along the line of the columns, set back actually about 2 feet from the sidewalk. And the current fence on the south side is set back about 2 feet from that fence instead of right on the property line adjoining the sidewalk, which is the standard setback in all of the HPZ districts. So I want to clarify where the east and south side fences are going, especially since the prongs face out.
Kevin, you wanna?
Yeah, I guess the question is your concern the fact that they're curved tops, spear tops that prong out, they curve out over the sidewalk, and maybe a potential for access?
The standard setback in Armory Park for all fence lines has been historically at least 1 foot back. It depends upon where the property line starts, away from the sidewalks. The sidewalks were improved to be about 7 feet back when there were CBGB grants available through the mayor's office, and we put those sidewalks in. But the current siding of the south chain link fence is the appropriate setback for the neighborhood in general, consistent throughout the neighborhood, has been set back away from the sidewalk instead of right up against it. And with the pole design that you're showing, I'm concerned that there could be damage to the sidewalk if it was not also equally set back.
Okay, so that is, I mean, that's not an issue at all. We can move that fence and make sure it stays to at least 2 feet. Keep it 2 feet off of the sidewalk. That's easy. So
okay, and you know, I know that the mural has been vandalized again and may need repairs, and I'm happy to help in getting some funding going to get that restored again. But it's kind of a treasured part of the neighborhood that I think if it was non-visible, we'd have a problem with. So I'm glad the mesh has gone away. But I just kind of wanted to express that here.
Yeah, and we specifically, this fence is, of course, I can't get it open. There we go. It's the same as this fence across. This is the fence across the street at Safford K-8. So it's that big, you know, there's good sized gaps in that fence. So for visibility, it's not enough for people to, you'd have to be really skinny to get through it. I certainly couldn't fit.
A lot of us were mortified when that Armory Park fence went up, but I understand that's the current standard has dictated by PAG. So, you know, it is what it is.
But yeah, this fence will be far more open, make it'll be far more visible.
And you don't plan on using the new enclosed area as a storage area that would block the view shed and the mural?
No.
Great.
No, once that's open, and yeah, that fenced in area, the chain link that they put up with that netting in there, I mean, that's as soon as they put that on, then they had a place where you couldn't see their junk. So they store things in there. But now that the fence is going to be open, yeah, the only thing that really will be in there is are the vans.
Okay. Yeah. That was just kind of why this is happening now question that happened in my head. But if we can adjust the setback for the fence from the sidewalk and not have any meshing, I'm perfectly happy with it. It's otherwise a straightforward proposal, but let me open it up to all the commissioner members. Helen.
Yes, I do have a question. I'm trying to work with my Google Earth, which is just suddenly, which is very interesting in its own right. Okay, let's see if I can get this back. Okay, I'm wondering if I can share my screen because this will be possible to Is that okay, John?
It's out of my hands. That's Michael, and I think they'll have to close the current shared
Michael,
screen.
my share
Yeah,
my
he needs to get out, then I can make you the co-host so you can share your screen.
Okay.
I don't think two people can share the screen at the same time.
Okay,
Don't you just get up, then I will make Helen the. Okay, I need to remove you as co-host, sorry. Okay, Helen, I'm going to make you the co-host now. And then Donnie, if you need to come back again, I will still make you the co-host so you can share.
Sure. Sure.
and that didn't work.
So Helen, you should be good to share.
Good, see it, okay? Share. So this is the corner that we have. Can people see it?
Yes.
So my question, a couple of things. You have
Mhm.
this block ending here, which is sort of weird. So the question I guess I have, this the line that the fence is going to take across here?
So the fence will, we are in line with the columns. I apologize. I think I said it was 6 inches off the sidewalk, but it's in line with the columns, and there will be a fence from the corner of the building to the line with the columns that will have a walk gate, just a man gate.
Okay, and then down to wherever it was agreed that it would be a setback?
Yeah, so we'll keep it 2 feet off of 2 feet behind the sidewalk the whole way around.
Basically like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and this view through the gate here, you will be able to see into the space, or will that be, what kind of gate are we talking about?
No, it's, I think that gate, let me,
It looked like
Kevin,
it was open wrought iron. As long as there's no mesh, it's fine.
Right,
Kevin, that is just open wrought iron, correct?
Yes, it is. It'll be almost identical to the fence.
okay, because that is helpful if you were walking down here and you saw a blank trap, that would, in terms of safety and security, that would be a real question. So starting from here is fine. And if you're able to continue to see the mural, that would be one of my concerns. If you use that as a storage space that blocked the mural, that would. So.
Yeah, no, that will, and as a matter of fact, since I'll make sure to speak with the center director and make sure and our parks folks that are in there, just make sure that they know, again, that they can't use it for storage anymore.
Okay.
They've always used the enclosed courtyard for years and years. And in fact, they used to have filing cabinets and have all the original records for the neighborhood association for years. And then they had at one point they had a patio for staff, and then it was open to the public when they did a cafe thing. And it's been used for multiple purposes over the years. And that's still visibly kind of cut off from the neighborhood. So we're not trying to impact that particular area. It's just we want to maintain a general visibility of that mural. You can see why it's a community asset.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So yeah, there's we're going to make sure that we do everything that we can, to keep it, visible to the public. So.
Great.
And my other question is, this is going to be a parking area? Is that the idea?
This is kind of where they park their vans overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what they're going to use it for.
Okay, so one of my concerns there is I see that you have whatever they're called here. And I would just like to make sure that tired, clumsy people don't back their vans into the wall.
Okay.
So,
I assume that'll be going away, actually. Because you'll probably, if you're coming in from a gate on the east, they'll probably pull in parallel
to it.
13th Street.
Yeah, the gate is actually on the west side, so it's on the other side of this chain link fence. So yeah, they would be pulling in and parking
Parallel to the.
correct.
Okay, that was only my concern, because if they parked head on into it, I could see future damage to the mural.
This proposal might actually help that.
Yeah, okay, great.
And
That
you're
would-
not planning, the other thing that wasn't listed, you're not planning on paving the area
No,
enclosures? Okay.
no.
So that was my only concern, because I do know that people do not always park very well.
It's Pat's
It's
turn.
a personal experience.
Pat, comments?
No, it looks pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. Maurice?
No, it looks good. As long as you keep 2 feet away from the sidewalk, I don't see a problem here. This is fine.
Okay. All right, then. I would like to entertain a motion from somebody that we recommend that the south side maintain the existing setback, and the east side has the setback of the columns as described in the meeting, and that there will be no mesh so that the wall will be visible to the public. Anyone willing to make that motion?
Yeah, I will make the motion that that setback should be followed, and that all efforts should be made for that mural to remain visible to the neighborhood.
Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Helen.
Okay, roll call vote. I vote aye. Helen,
I,
Pat,
Aye.
Maurice.
I
Okay, thank you so much for coming. I hope we cleared up our very small issues, but you know, we understand the needs of security and other things, and it may actually really help with the ongoing vandalism situation there. So
It should, so.
the project general concept is a good thing. So good luck with it. And I guess you get to go to Michael. Do you want to outline the next steps? I guess it goes to PRS next.
Yeah, the next step would be you've gone to Armory Park now, so your next step, Donnie, we're going to schedule you for plans review subcommittee. They will be reviewing the same plans that you are showing here and probably asking you similar, if not, no questions at all. And then after the plans review subcommittee, we are going to take the recommendation for approval from Armory Park with whatever recommendation plans review will get. We'll take it to the director, and then the director will make a decision. Then we'll send an approval letter to you. You use that approval letter to then pull your permit and start your project.
I do have a request. Since you showed a different plan that didn't have any mesh screening on it and didn't identify, can you clarify that at plans review that you are working from a newer draft than we were presented to review tonight? The draft you showed us when we discussed it here for the site plan.
Is that, you want, sure, yeah, I mean, this is the plans that we're submitting, so.
Yeah, the site plan that you showed tonight did not have any mesh screening on it, but the site plan we got in advance of the meeting did.
Okay,
And that was why there was some confusion in our questions.
okay,
We'll make sure that that note is removed from the plans.
Yeah, so basically what John is saying, you are going to present the same plans that you are presenting now, not what was submitted.
correct.
And we as staff will make sure that plans review knows that they are reviewing the same plans that Armory Park has reviewed tonight.
Great. Thanks so much. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hopefully we're
folks.
Relatively painful or painless.
Yeah, no, that was easier than I had any reason to hope for, so.
Good luck. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for coming. Thank you, everybody.
And if you have any question at any time, don't hesitate to catch up with either Jody or myself.
Okay, now I got your number, mister.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5, design guidelines project update. I don't have an update, but I have gotten the version 5.3 from Ken again and his suggested draft and the other stuff. And I do want to, now that other issues, which we'll discuss in the next item, have finally gone away, I think we should get back onto doing a draft of that, because it's kind of important that we have current guidelines moving forward as all the other advisory boards are doing. So that's basically it for item 5. And then item 6, separation update. I went to mayor and council today. Officially, the commission split is dead, over, gone. They voted to retain the current. Yes, they voted to retain the current commission, rescind their previous guidance to
start
the process of separation. Council member Kozacek added the further provision that all process or code changes will be run through the historic commission, has the direction. So that was accomplished today at 3:37 p.m. I was there and I clapped. It's over. Also, last week at the historic commission, a revised draft after stuff came in, edits from city staff and so forth. The final draft is now 98 pages. It was approved by the commission with a recommendation to not split the commission and to direct staff, has Pima County is also doing, because they voted to stop the split back on September 5th, that everything needs to go through the commission for consultation and direction before anything goes further into the process. So hopefully it's a done deal and we can get back to real issues at hand. I think that's about it for 6. Helen, do you have a quick one? And I think Michael Tack may add something.
We had 2 separate votes. One was on the question of whether the commission should be split. Obviously, we said no, but it included in our recommendations precisely that the commission would be the first step in making any changes. I also think that with regard to what you said today, and the report was accepted separately as a basis for ongoing. Whatever happens in the future, that report is the basis for considering that. But also, I think what was important with what Steve Kay said is that he sort of picked out from a memo that Terry Majewski sent that specifically pointed out that the first stop for changes to procedures, codes, anything like that goes to the commission. And I think we owe some appreciation to Steve Kay for that. But also, I think at this point, we can get back to business. We don't have to worry about this anymore. We can start working about appropriate things like the streetscape of Armory Park and this kind of thing. So it's a really good day for us.
Michael, anything further from staff on that?
No, I don't have anything to add except to say that we as staff were ready and committed to work with the commission and any member of the advisory board anytime to help historic preservation to go further in Tucson. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Michael.
A cloud is lifted. Okay, we'll move on to item 7, minor reviews. Michael has scheduled me Friday to do a roof shingle replacement at 345 East 13th Street. And Michael said there may be another one coming up. Michael, do you want to?
Yes, I do have another one. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on Friday. I just got this one late. I already scheduled this other one because I have other reviews scheduled in other districts. So I have one at 218 East 17th Street. This one is a zoning violation because the applicant had some storage shed in the back. The picture that I saw, it looks like he had about 6 of them or so many of them. And so it attracted an inspector and he was given a violation for putting that in there without going through the review. When I talked to the applicant, he said he only has one shed there, which is 160 square feet. I'm not sure how true that is, but I've decided to start from the route of minor review. So I will be contacting John and we can start this as a minor review because it is a zoning violation. If we get there and it is not just one shed and it looks like there are many of them there, then that will be a different issue to be discussed. If not, I have that one
He
pending.
put up a whole new storage shed, so I hopefully we can schedule that one as a live on-site meeting.
That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do that one like that.
Great.
Way.
Keep me appraised. I should be around all next week.
Yes, so as soon as I get somebody from TRS who is willing to do an on-site review, I will get that one scheduled.
Great.
So that's what I have for Armory Park at this point in time. We are trying to get moving away from minor review. We're trying to get the fence at I believe is 327 East 13 or something. We're trying to get him to come back to you and then go to plans review.
Is that the one that went up with a whole new block wall and a gate and everything that was turned in as a?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. We're trying to get that one to come into compliance, but apparently
Most zoning violations generally end up being a full review, correct?
yes.
Okay. All right.
This particular one, I'm just starting it as from a minor review because I'm thinking that if it is just a shed, if it is, he said it's an old shed that he got it from somewhere around Phoenix and just kept there. So if it is new construction, it is actually supposed to be a full review. And if it is zoning violation, it is meant to be a full review. But starting it as a minor review, we may eventually end up with a full review. I don't know, depending on what we see. And that's why I want to make it as an on-site review so we can actually see exactly what is going on there.
Great. Yeah, that's a troubling one, especially since they're familiar with the process, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I encourage each and every one of you, if you have a chance, please drive by, take a look, and if there's anything different from what I know, don't hesitate to let me know.
I actually received 12 complaints as the building was going up over a 4-month period and contacted the owner and asked him to apply for an application for a brand new building, which didn't happen. And so a zoning violation was made by an unknown, probably resident in the area. Anyway, we shouldn't really discuss an item that's not on our agenda.
No.
Okay, let's move on to call to the board, item 8. Maurice, you want to go first? I know that you had a question about the CLG training that Jody had sent out to all the advisory board members.
That is correct. Michael, maybe you know something about it. Jody sent everybody an email telling us that there's CLG training coming up and there's funding for it and that the issue should be brought up at this meeting. So I'm bringing up the issue. She stated that she wanted to make a list of whoever wants to participate in that training. Do you know anything about it, Nicole?
Yeah, there is some scholarship that the conference may give to commissioners and board members like you who are interested in doing that training. That is why we are asking for those who are interested in participating to give us that information probably through your chair. If you're interested in attending, then you can tell John. John will tell Jody, and we'll be able to get a list of all the people who are interested in going for that training, so that you may be able to get some scholarship from the conference planner to attend the meeting. And I personally think that it is very important for anybody who is serving on boards and commission and committees of the city to actually attend that meeting. We do provide training every year somehow, but that one is much more comprehensive. And I know that they've been trying to do it for every historic preservation conference, just to get all the commissioners and board members to be aware of what is going on. It's a training that I seriously encourage anybody who's able to please take part. And it's right here in Tucson. You don't need to go somewhere.
Helen,
Okay, so
And
I just wanted to say that Jody was very specific that she was going to make a list at today's meeting. So Michael, are you able to make the list?
Yeah, you can give the list to your chair. The chair will forward it to us.
okay, I'll provide a bit of a background. There are 10 scholarships available total for everybody, including the historic commissioners and advisory board members. I think 3 or 4 commissioners signed up, so there's 6 slots that are available. I did put my name forward on Friday because I knew this was coming. Jody sent out the email to all the other ones. I have no idea what the full list is. Otherwise, it's actually a 3-day conference. It costs $200 and it's prohibitive for a lot of people. I don't know if there's a single day price to do a particular training, which is scheduled currently for the Wednesday afternoon of that week. But we'll see how many slots are available on Jody's tally. But Maurice, I'm happy to forward your name. Anybody else? I think Helen's going, has affiliated with the commission. Pat, are you interested in doing a live in-person training on CLG and a lot of other things at the preservation conference in October?
Not just now, though. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'll put your name forward, Maurice.
And just
Thanks.
to answer your question, John, there is usually a discounted rate for people who just want to attend only one session.
Oh,
They don't
good.
make you pay the whole conference. You just
I'll try to get a hold of Jody tomorrow and get that information out for everybody. If need be, I'll pay it so I can open up a slot for other people. Helen, I think you may have some more information.
keep breaking in here. Number one, Maurice, I think it'd be fantastic if you attended, because I talked to Catherine Leonard, the SHPO, and originally this was only open to commissioners. But when I told her that the advisory boards were also appointed members, she said anyone who was appointed could take advantage of this. So in the past, the advisory boards have pretty much been excluded, but I think we've sort of changed that policy now. And this is
Thank you, Helen. Big thank you, Helen. It'd be great if there were slots for all 57 of us in Tucson that are on these commissions to attend this sort of thing. But it's a limited slot, so I'll keep you opposed and I will put your name forward, Maurice. Anything else under board comments?
I would like to bring up one other thing that has a certain impact on Armory Park. We had a case from Fort Lowell that there was a question basically about how they were interpreting the design guidelines. Excuse me, and how this was handled. After the discussion, this went to plans review, and as I understand this, and perhaps you can help with this, basically plans review said it has to go back to Fort Lowell because the information provided them is not complete or not accurate. And Fort Lowell is actually asking the Aaron Council to reconsider the situation. So I'm not quite sure what is going to happen there, but it does have something to do basically with how the design guidelines are used.
It's an interesting case to be followed. There is a formal appeal pending now from the Fort Lowell Association challenging an approval made by the planning director for a particular case on Fort Lowell Road. And it's available online if anyone's interested. I'm happy to send the link. It will probably go to mayor and council next month. But, you know, that's not really our purview to discuss, but it's a related side thing of a process issue that's been brought forward that we should probably kind of watch. Does that sum it up, Michael?
Yeah, but I'm consistent with what Helen is saying. I think that now that you're in the process of revising your guidelines, please let's just make the guidelines to be straightforward and clear so that this type of interpretation or misunderstanding of the guideline does not really come along. When you look at the existing guidelines that we have today, some of them are just like 2 or 3 pages, which gives a lot of subjectivity and does not give enough guidance. So now that you're in the process of updating your guidelines, may be a good thing to consider, just like Helen is saying, to actually make it much more precise and say exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do something that will actually get approved when I bring a draft back. But it hinges on the words in TSM, which is considered secondary to the code, where the word may was used instead of shall be used. And so that's been kind of an ongoing thing. Most historic policy is that if there's a standard that's generally applied, it continues, but the code doesn't necessarily say that. So we're all going to have to clean it up. That's why West University's updating theirs, Barrio's updating theirs, Fort Lowell's updating theirs. And I think El Presidio is now considering updating theirs to include streetscape too, because of a current case. So there should be a lot of things coming forward that we've all got work to do. The other thing I'd like to add under board comments is if you know anyone to join this board, Tom will be rotating off. We need to fill some slots. So if you know any colleagues or anybody else who might be interested, we need to rope them in this year so that they can be put forward in November as new names to join the advisory board, especially now that we're not going away anymore. So that's it for me on board comments. Anybody else? Pat, do you have anything?
No, this sounds like all good news this evening.
Yep.
I
Maurice,
would
anything
actually
further?
like to come back here, John, and I
Sure,
would
Helen.
to just comment that one of the, I don't know if this would be a possible future CLG grant, but I think that working with the advisory, you know, the advisory board guidelines throughout the city could be very valuable for everyone, because we would end up with consistency, we would be dealing with the same issues, and I think it could avoid problems like the one that we have just seen with Fort Lowell. And heaven only knows we don't need confusion in these areas. It just doesn't do anything good for anyone. So I don't know, Michael, do you have some ideas on that?
Well, Helen, the only thing I can say, dealing with this code and all this for all these years, there are certain areas of the code that I think that the advisory board can put a little bit more of emphasis. You remember when I used to work with you, landscaping was just something that was ignored.
Right.
A very long time. And you know that you and I did a lot of landscaping projects, you know, in Air Presidio, in Armory Park. So that is one area where I see that the advisory board probably needs to put in a little bit more work, a little bit more effort. As these days we're talking of the historic landscape. It's one of those areas that has just been a gray area, or when they talk of landscaping generally in the code, is usually commercial projects. They don't really look so much into residential projects. So I think that a place like Armory Park that we have done a lot in the historic landscape should be, maybe we should really focus a little bit more on the landscaping. Because
Yeah.
that is also one of the big problems with Fort Law. Fort Law, in their mind, they really want to preserve their landscape. But when you see the guideline, it doesn't really talk much about the landscaping per se. So just my appeal that maybe is one area that maybe Helen, you can take a lead being a landscape architect to actually see how we can bring this into play. UDC itself on landscaping, if you look at the code, it's kind of a little bit so soft. Doesn't give us any strong team. They say you may review it as part of a bigger project. It doesn't really require any of that kind of strict review. And that is part of the problem that we are facing. So
Also, to be fair, Fort Law is a really unique area.
Yeah.
It was in the county for a long time, and then it got absorbed into the city after it was a district. And so it actually is a whole area, historic area, and then it's got a very small core of an HBZ district, and then it has an expanded district that includes contributing non-historic buildings. So they're kind of a unique case for all of us that makes the issues very complex over there. But yeah, I think it's time for the whole community to start addressing process issues for consistency. Okay, anything else? And then we can adjourn. Michael, anything more?
No.
Okay.
That's all I have for you today.
All right. And you'll be posting this meeting, so that I guess I'll be doing the minutes on behalf of Sarah, who couldn't attend again tonight. The recording will be posted in the next couple of days.
Yeah, the recording will be available, and we can send it to you. And then we usually post all the recording on the YouTube.
Great. I'll try to get you all a draft LAR for you and Jody to review as
Thank
soon
you.
as possible. All
Thank
right. Thanks all. We are adjourned.